and water resources. Will the Deputy Prime Minister update the House on how the government's reform of competition law will help small business in my electorate of Flynn and drive innovation and jobs growth in Queensland more broadly? Thank you.
Particularly in New England.
Member for Hunter will cease interjecting. The Deputy Prime Minister has the call.
Well, thank you very much, Mr Speaker. And I thank the honourable member for his question. And it's very pertinent too that it comes from the honourable member for Flynn, because he has a background that has involved small business. He has a background that was was part of a petroleum transport business. He's been in the dairy business. He's been in the mixed crops and beans, peas, peanuts and grains business. He's been in a range of small businesses, and that's because he obviously understands the benefits that comes from being in small business. That opportunity to progress through the social stratification and economic stratification, to start at the bottom in life and make your way to the top. And to exist in that environment and to survive into that environment and to thrive in that environment, we must have fairness. We must have fairness. And in fairness is what this side of the House is about, making sure that small business, the 2 million small businesses that employ over 4.5 million people, that they survive and thrive. Because that's where the ingenuity comes from. That's where the dynamism comes from. That's where the hope and the aspiration comes from. And that is what drives so many people on this side of the chamber into politics. Now, I do acknowledge the member for Hunter, who was a small business person with about 10 years as an auto electrician, but for the life of me, after that, it gets a bit thin on the ground. It gets a bit thin on the ground as to who actually was involved in small business. So their understanding of this aspiration is very limited. And that's why the Labor Party will not be supporting our changes for small business. That's why they do not share the dream of people going through the social stratification by the sweat of their brow to make it from the bottom to the top. And of course, you know, the member for McMahon, he mocks it. He's supposed to be the treasurer, but he mocks the idea. He mocks the idea that someone can start from the bottom and make it to the top. He doesn't believe in people getting ahead. He believes that it all should be by the corporate manual of big business and big unions. They are the parties of big business and big unions. But I'm very happy. I'm very happy that we will always be looking after. We'll be always looking after fairness. And I can see the leader of the opposition's got a bit of vim about him at the moment. He's got a bit of spark about him, because I was watching the member for Jagar's speech this morning on poverty, and the leader of the opposition had a bit of a snooze, had a bit of a sleep, a little sleepy poo through the speech. So he's very alive now, he's very awake now, but he was a bit sleepy during the speech on poverty. But we actually believe in fairness, so we are going to make sure that we stand up for small business. We're not going to be sleeping through it. We won't be sleeping through the member for Jagar's speech. We will find that making sure we get fairness for people in small business and also fairness for people dealing with poverty is dealt with properly.